I was at a friend's house when the lights started to flicker and the ground shook below my feet. Pieces began falling off the shelves. I thought it was a strong wind. It wasn't. I ran outside to where the water from the pool was splashing out onto the grass. I stood, watching the house sway in fear. I was scared, but went to sleep that night without so much of a scratch on my body. Oh, shit. Sorry. I can just keep going. Reading the news the next day, I was shocked. 563 dead, over 1,000 injured. This was in one night alone. A couple months later, another earthquake hit the coast of Sulawesi that soon after triggered a tsunami. 4,340 deaths, over 5,000 seriously injured. Indonesia is in the middle of three major continental plates: the Pacific, the Eurasian, the Indo-Australian plates, and the much smaller Philippine plate, otherwise known as the Ring of Fire because of the shape it has around Indonesia. This is where 90% of all earthquakes occur. The plates push against each other all the time, but sometimes they get stuck and pressure builds, and this is what causes these earthquakes. On the 5th of August, 2018, a shallow earthquake measuring 6.9 on the Richter scale hit Longan village, North Lombok. Officials said that at least 80% of all structures in North Lombok had been damaged or destroyed. This was the strongest one to ever hit Lombok, as well as the deadliest. The president of Indonesia visited North Lombok to see the destruction and decided that the government needed to provide support to start rebuilding these people's homes and lives. It was decided that the government would provide the materials to do so, but the people of North Lombok would have to rebuild their own homes. Although this is good news, the Indonesian government didn't declare these earthquakes a national disaster because they were still able to function. In other words, if the government is still able to operate, then technically it's not a national problem. And without an official declaration of a national disaster, all foreign aid couldn't be accepted. For my mini-quest project earlier this year, some classmates and I visited East Bali, where people had experienced the effects of the earthquake, in an effort to provide any support that we could. We were introduced to a family whose roof had been severely damaged by the earthquake earlier this year, and we decided that we were going to raise the money to fix it. This mini-quest project really inspired me to help other earthquake victims, and when I heard about the destruction in Sulawesi, I was devastated and decided that my quest would be a great opportunity to address this issue and help these people. Philanthropy, the desire to promote the welfare of others, expressed especially through monetary donations to good causes. Andrew Carnegie was the most influential leader of philanthropy on a national scale. In 1901, he dramatically sold his steel company for $480 million, which in today's economy would be around $14.2 billion. During the last 18 years of his life, he gave away almost 90% of his fortune, approximately $350 million, to charities, organizations, and universities. Greenwashing, otherwise known as green sheen, is the poor alternative to philanthropy. Greenwashing is deceptively donating to charities, organizations, and the environment to help the perception of their company. Well, yes, technically these companies are still helping the cause. They have the wrong intentions and they're misleading consumers. I'm 14 and had no idea where to start, who to talk to, or how to help. And I soon discovered through initial research that companies were facing this same issue. So I decided that the best way for me to make the most impact was to give companies around Bali an opportunity to offer sustained help. To do this, I needed a charity or organization that was already providing help on the ground in Lombok and Sulawesi. And after researching and talking to a number of NGOs, I decided on Bumi Sehat. Bumi Sehat is a non-profit organization that was originally started in 1995 by Robin Lim. It was then, and still is now, a midwife clinic, but has since branched out and now operates on helping people that have been affected by natural disasters. And at the moment, helping in Lombok and Sulawesi. I then reached out and sent an email to over 50 companies. And yes, a lot didn't reply. However, I was fortunate enough to get a few companies on board. Quicksilver was the first. They agreed to donate their last season's products, and then followed a few more local brands like Sign House and Chili Surfboards. I really worked to brainstorm ways in which these donations be sustainable, meaning that once I've completed my Quest project, these people would not get forgotten again. So, rather than collecting one-off payments, I encouraged companies to make monthly donations. I initially looked into setting up my own system for this because at the time, Boomy say I didn't have one. But by coincidence, they had been setting up this feature, and it was released during this process. This was a big relief, as now my efforts to create sustained support will continue, and the people in need will continue to be supported even once I've finished my project. I needed big brands to help me work out how I could help others. But what I soon realized was that I could also create my own brand, not just to sell something, but rather to raise awareness. My brand is not focused on selling for personal profit, but focused on using sales to help others. And I like that I'm leaning toward more what it means to be a greenwasher than a philanthropist than a greenwasher. The brand name is Nexus, the Latin word for connecting, which is what my project's all about. I decided to make t-shirts because I think it's a great way to spread awareness effortlessly while still going about your everyday life. I designed the X as a heartbeat or a seismic wave, which is how we measure earthquakes. And I go to green school, of course, so these t-shirts had to be sustainable. So they're made from recycled plastic bottles. The most challenging part of this project for me, it was getting companies to donate. I didn't think this would be too hard, but it turns out that either a lot of companies don't check their emails or don't have the time to respond. And because this project is all about helping people help others, and there weren't enough people replying to my email, I needed a better way to contact them. So, I walked down Battery Belong Road, stopped at every shop, walked in, and pitched my project to whoever would listen. I discovered that these face-to-face meetings were a much more efficient and personal way to contact and connect with companies. In fact, the majority of the companies that are helping me now are a result of this. So, natural disasters are nothing we can stop. They're natural. They can't be stopped. But what we can do is take action. And if everyone does their own small part, so many more lives can be reached. I can't help everyone, but everyone can help someone. And as Andrew Carnegie said, do your duty and a little more, and the future will take care of itself. Thank you.